Hello everyone and welcome to another incredible game from the Grandchester SuperUnited Croatia Blitz tournament. It is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave versus Levon Aronian, and I thought in the previous video that I've covered Maxime versus Alireza that it will be hard to top the combination seen in that game, but this one, I mean, it is okay. It is Levon Aronian playing, and you know, whenever he plays, if he has a good day, no one stands a chance, and especially if it's an active position where everything is hanging, there's a lot to calculate. He will outshine pretty much everyone, but Maxime found a very interesting approach to how to play against Levon. This game, he decided to bore him to death, or so it would seem. So let's see what I mean by this. Maxime opened with pawn to e4. Levon played pawn to e6. He went for the French defense, sort of being funny about playing against the Frenchman. d4, we have pawn to d5 and knight to c3. Levon went for the Winawer variation, bishop to b4, and there are a couple of moves that we always mention here, like pawn to e5, queen to d3. Pawn to e5 almost exclusively being played, but Maxime plays e captures on d5, so-called the delayed French, but will transpose into the the delayed exchange French, but will transpose into the normal exchange French. Is one of the more boring openings that you could find, especially in a top-level chess. So, is this a good way to play against Levon? Let's see. E captures on d5. We have bishop to d3, transposing into the normal exchange variation. c6 and knight to e2. We have knight to e7, knight to g3, and knight to d7. Both players castles, so castles, and knight c to e2. And Levon, there are a couple of games that reach this position. For example, knight to g6 is a non-move, bishop to d6 is a non-move, knight to f6 is a non-move. But Levon plays rook to e8, and it is now as of move 9 that we have a completely new game. So okay, knight to f4 and pawn to g6. Of course, makes sense as everything is pointing in the direction of the black king. We have queen to f3 and knight to f8. We have pawn to c3, challenging the bishop, bishop to d6, and bishop to d2. So okay, both players nicely developing. However, Maxime is a bit better on time. 3.5 minutes versus 2.5 minutes. Bishop to e6, and now rook a to e1. So okay, Maxime completes development. We have knight to c8, and now Levon goes knight g to h5. And if this was any other player other than Levon, I guess they would just ignore this, play knight to b6, and the game continues. For example, something like if knight captures on e6, you'll capture with the rook. If queen to g4, let's say knight to b7, and okay, it's still a sharp position, but you can play it. For example, captures, bishop to e7, and so on and so on. But Levon, a true gentleman in chess, one that often plays in the style of the old masters, says it is impolite to decline someone's sacrifice. So he captures it. G captures on h5, and now the fireworks begin. Let's see what Maxime had in mind. Knight captures on h5. Okay, we can see that he has a firm grip on the f6 square, so what can Levon do about that? Well, not much for the moment. For example, if you control the knight with something like bishop to e7, then many moves are possible, something like rook captures on e6, and if knight captures on e6, then queen to g4 with check, and if something like king to h8, then queen f5, and you can no longer stop checkmate. So that's the idea, just opening up this diagonal for the bishop, and it will be very strong to play. So knight to g6, closing this diagonal, and now knight to f6 with check. Okay, you can. You're probably thinking Levon will now win back material, but sorry, Maxime will win back material. I'm showing an attacking game, and I'm in my mind it is Levon who is attacking, but no, Levon is defending here. King to g7, and now not knight captures on e8, bishop to g5. Now threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries to win the black queen. So of course bishop to e7 now, and Levon defended well. This position is only winning for white if you find not one, not two, but three moves that are required for you to actually win this position. Is Maxime able to do that? We will show, but you guys will also get a chance. Feel free to pause the video and try to find the only path to the black king while I give you a couple of seconds. There is but one, and that is rook captures on e6. That's the move. And of course, everything goes towards opening up this diagonal for the light square bishop. The light square bishop, even though, everything else is being moved other than the light square bishop, but the light square bishop is the star of this game. Rook captures on e6, we have f captures on e6, and now Again, only move that wins the game, not easy to see, but bishop to h6 with check. I'm sure you guys saw this when you were calculating the previous move, and now you have to do something. The point is that if you capture this bishop, then you allow the queen into the game. Queen h5 check, king g7, queen h7 check, and now whatever you play, it doesn't matter. If you capture on f6, then just queen captures on g6 is checkmate. If you go to f8, then queen to g8 is checkmate. So that will not work. After bishop to h6 check, Levon played king to h8, and again, only one move that wins the game. Again, not an easy one to spot, but Maxime has a very clear idea of what he wants to do, and it's all about making this light square bishop as strong as possible. Knight captures on h7. And now the light square bishop rules unopposed. What can you do here? Obviously, if you capture, then just queen to f7 check, and it doesn't matter. If you capture on h6, queen captures on g6 is checkmate. If king h8, then queen to g7 is checkmate. So after knight captures on h7, Levon plays rook to g8, and now what to do here? Queen to h5, and it's not even clear how this is winning. There are two pieces in front of that black king. Obviously, Levon can do something before those two pieces move, and he plays queen to e8. Now just adds more defense to this knight on g6, and Maxime frees up the knight. Knight to f6. Now this is so complicated that it would be a shame to spoil anything, but I will show you if the fastest way to win is actually knight to f8. And now, okay, what do you play? All sorts of nasty discoveries are now coming. You could play bishop to f6, but then comes knight captures on g6 with check, and after rook captures, bishop captures, you attack the queen. Queen to g8, and now just bishop to f8 with check. Only move queen h7, and queen captures on h7 is checkmate. So that's one way to do it. Maxime went the other way, knight to f6, also winning, nothing wrong with it. We have knight to f4, Levon attacks the queen and threatens rook captures on g2, and now bishop to g7, sacrificing more material. King captures, and now, winning all that material back, knight captures on e8 with check. The queen falls, king to f8, we have queen to h6 with check, king captures on e8, and now queen captures on f4. And now after all is said and done, Levon has a knight and rook for the queen, and it's not something that Levon would shy away from. You know, a knight and rook versus a queen, we've seen Levon do very well with those odds, but the problem is you are underdeveloped. So knight to d6, but just queen to e5. Removing the e6 pawn is key, and then you will just crush Levon using the e file. King to d7, rook to e1. You cannot defend this. The g6 square is covered by the bishop. So rook 8 to e8. Levon tries to finish development, and now just queen captures on e6 with check. King to d8 and bishop to f5, threatening checkmate, forcing Levon to capture the bishop. He does. Knight captures on f5. Queen captures on f5, and he was in this position on move 32 that Levon Aronian resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Queen and rook versus two rooks and the bishop is too easy to play at this level. There's nothing to try. There's no tricky stuff to try here. Let's say you try to escape king to c7, already queen f7, and you resign. I mean, the bishop is hanging. You could move the king back, but then you just advance the past h pawn to victory. Many possibilities here on how to win this. Of course, Levon knows this, and he wholeheartedly congratulates Maxime on this spectacular game. But yeah, I thought when I saw the intro moves after the Winawer variation with bishop to b4 and Maxime playing e captures on d5, I thought, all right, he wants to play a nice calm game against Levon, because, you know, who wouldn't? But no, that was the last thing on Maxime's mind. It seems that he was restless, and he wanted, more blood had to be spilled. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Brilliant stuff by Maxime. Again, showing why he's such an impressive player, and he's already very close to 2,800 in live Blitz ratings. As you know, that's definitely where he belongs, and I have no doubt that he will get there very quickly. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you were able to find all of the right moves, as it was the only line that was winning. I would like to thank Lawrence Brazier, Edward Vazo, Kevin O'Grady, Rajashri Chowdhury, and James Eugene Cashman for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your Sunday.